What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing? So we're going to continue on here with our 2021 player position rankings. If you have not seen the last ones, if you go back to last week, I've done first base, I've done second base, I've done third base, I've done shortstop, and I did catcher as well. Today, we're going to focus on left field. But before I get started, if I may, as always, if you are new right now, just finding this channel for the first time, don't know what the heck is going on here. We're talking baseball here all the time. So think about hitting that subscribe button if you're looking for more baseball content. Hit that like button for me. That's going to help this get out to more baseball fans. And if you would like, go follow me on Twitter as well. So let's not waste any time here. Actually, before I get started, I want to go take a look at MLB.com's player rankings. They've done their position rankings as well. So let's go take a look at that real quick. So as of right now, they have Christian Yelich at number 1, Michael Brantley at number 2, Mark Hannahan at number 3, Marcelo Zuna at number 4, Jesse Winker at number 5, Dominic Smith at number 6, at number 7, Eloy Jimenez at number 8, Alex Dickerson, number 9, Clint Frazier, and at number 10, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. So let me come back to you here. As for these rankings, it's pretty much impossible for all of us to agree on these rankings. No matter what, people are going to think someone is going to be up higher. Someone is going to think a player should be lower. Someone is going to think a player should not even be on the list. A player should be on the list, and so on. So if you disagree, that's okay. Just be respectful in the comments. That's all I ask. At the end of the day, this is just conversation as always. But let me not waste any more time here. Let's get to it. At number 10, I have Randy Arozarena. This guy burst onto the scene last year. Some of you may be thinking, I don't know, this might be a little early for him to get onto this list. But you know what? This guy had a historic postseason. Let's go take a look at the stats real quick. So Randy Arozarena, like I said, hasn't really had too much time here. Here we go, sharing the screen. So if we go take a look, only 23 games last year, but he did really well in those 23 games. Hit 7 homers, 281 average, a 382 on base. Almost had 1 win contributed in those 23 games. But if we go take a look at the postseason numbers, this is what we all came to know Randy Arozarena for. In the postseason, this guy was playing out of his mind all the way through the World Series. 20 games in the postseason, set a record for home runs in a postseason, 10 homers, had 14 RBIs, hit 377 over the postseason, a 442 on base, and 831 slugging. This guy was out of his mind. Right now, he's in the 10 spot for me. This guy, the postseason he had was just absolutely incredible. And he had a pretty solid season as well in only 23 games. So to me, he makes it number 10. And we'll have to see if he can keep it up this coming season. But as for number 9, let's move on. Here we go. Clint Frazier, looking like he's going to be the left fielder for good for the Yankees. Clint Frazier, he really took over last year as one of the better players on the Yankees. Let's go take a look at the numbers. Here we go. Sharing the screen. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. So Clint Frazier had himself a pretty good year. He played a lot more right last year. That was because Aaron Judge was missing some time. But we're going to be seeing Clint Frazier as the guy out in left. That's already been confirmed by Aaron Boone. But 39 games last year, had himself a pretty good season, 267. Look at the on-base percentage, a 394 on base, a 511 slugging. This guy had a very good season last year, and I think he is ready to be a really good player for the Yankees. He was involved in some trade rumors this past offseason, but the fact that the Yankees did not want to part ways with him says a lot to me. He is, in my opinion, going to be a pretty solid player. 2019 didn't really contribute much when it came to the overall wins above replacement, but he had 12 homers over 69 games, had the 38 RBIs. This season, in 30 less games, had 8 home runs. So that is on pace for, let's say you played, 150 to 160 games. You're probably looking at around anywhere from 20 to 30 home runs from him, anywhere from maybe like 70, 80 RBIs. I think Clint Frazier is going to be very solid for the Yankees. So for me, he gets the number 9 spot. Coming in at number 8, someone else who had a very good season last year, Jesse Winker. Jesse Winker very good last year. Let's go take a look at the numbers. Here we go. Alrighty, Jesse Winker. He's been kind of slowly coming along over the last few years. 2017 is when he debuted, 47 games then, about half a win contributed. The defense has never been the best for him, but the offense has been pretty solid for the most part. 54 games last year, 12 homers, had 23 RBIs, but taking a look at the average, a little low, 255, but look at the on base, a 388 on base, a 544 slugging. This guy was playing very well last year. He's only just getting better and better as the years go on, so I'm excited to see what he can do over a full season. So for me, he gets the number 8 spot. Moving along at number 7, we have Lourdes Gurriel Jr. This guy, to me, one of the best contracts in the game. Such a team-friendly contract. 7-year contract for $22 million, and this guy is providing some pretty solid production, if you ask me. Let's go take a look. Alrighty, last year, over 57 games, had the 11 homers, the 33 RBIs, hit 308, 348 on base, a 534 slugging. That was a little more than a win contributed. Really like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I think he's going to be very solid. 2019 as well, about half a season played, almost 2 wins contributed, had the 20 homers, the 50 RBIs, had a 541 slugging, a 277 average. He's just getting better each year, and I'm pretty excited to see what he's going to do in 2021, especially on a very stacked Blue Jays team, especially now with the addition of George Springer. This offense is only going to be deeper. He's going to have more protection around him. Very excited to see what he can do with just a very good offense all around him. So Lourdes Gurriel Jr. gets the number 7 spot to me. At number 6, moving right along, Dominic Smith. Very good year for Dominic Smith last year. Going to be the left fielder for the Mets this year. Robinson Cano going to be out this year due to the PED punishment, missing 1 year this year. So that's going to be moving Jeff McNeil over to second, and now that opens up left field for Dominic Smith. So let's go take a look at the numbers. A very good year from Dominic Smith last year. Only 25 years old. This guy had a heck of a year. 50 games, 10 homers, a 316 average, a 377 on base, over a 600 slugging, a 164 WRC plus. Overall, about 2 wins contributed. The defense needs to be a little better from Dominic Smith. That's the only thing really that kind of holds me back from putting him up higher, along with just wanting to see more out of him. A very good season last year, but I want to see what he can do over a full season. I have no doubt in the world that this guy can be a very good player in this league over a full season. Like I said, last year was awesome. Over a 600 slugging, almost a 400 on base. I mean, what else is there to say? Dominic Smith, this guy could really help this Mets team make a deep run in the postseason. So looking forward to see what Dominic Smith can do with the Mets. Alrighty, we are at the halfway point, moving into the top 5. Here we go. At number 5, I have Eloy Jimenez. This guy, a lot of power in that bat. Eloy Jimenez is very interesting to me because you got a lot of these guys in that White Sox lineup. You got guys like Jose Abreu, Yohan Moncada. I mean, you got tons of bats all over the place. But Eloy Jimenez, I feel like, is one you don't really hear about too much. But I think we should hear more about him. If you go take a look, this guy has just really good power numbers so far in his career. Here we go. Going to take a look at the stats. I mean, in his rookie season, 2019, 122 games, 31 home runs in his rookie season, 79 RBIs. A little low on the on base, but the average was pretty decent, 267, over a 500 slugging in his first year. I mean, the defense was not great at all, in negative 11 defensive runs above average, but the power, the run production from Eloy Jimenez, it's pretty solid if you ask me. And then this year he kept it going. Over 55 games, 14 homers, 41 RBIs. He was pretty much on pace and then some to beat those numbers from 2019. The defense even got a little bit better. So really like Eloy Jimenez a lot. I think, to me, because of the first couple of years that he's had, he gets a top 5 spot for me. So moving along, here we go. Coming in at number 4, we have Mark Canha. Really like Mark Canha a lot. To me, one of the more underrated players in the game. If we go take a look at the stats, here we go. Taking a look. Alrighty. Here we go. Mark Canha, so far, over his career, he's been pretty solid. Going back to 2015, he's averaged a 340 on base, a 250 average, a 445 slugging, Overall, he's a really solid on-base guy if you go back to the last 2 years. 2019, over 126 games, had good power numbers, 26 homers, 58 RBIs. But look at the on-base, almost a 400 on-base, 396, decent average of 273, 517 slugging. The offensive runs above average, almost 30. That's incredible. That's very good. Contributed 4 wins in 2019. Kept it going in 2020. Played almost a full season. Only missed 1 game. 5 homers, 33 RBIs. I mean, the average was a little lower than what it was in 2019, but he kept up the on-base, a 387 on-base. The slugging dipped a little bit. If you do notice here, the power is a little down. Really, he was on pace for probably around like 15 homers, but over a full season, who knows? Maybe he could have had just a really hot second half if it was a full 162-game season. Who knows? But the power was kind of lagging a little bit this season. But overall, he has just been pretty solid for the last couple of years. A 2-win player going back to 2018, 2019. He just seems like he's getting better each year. Want to see those power numbers come back up. But to me, he's one of the more solid left fielders in the game. Definitely a top 5 for me. Here we go. We now move into the top 3. Top 3, here we go. At number 3, here we go. Michael Brantley. Very interesting offseason for him this year. It looked like he was going to be a Blue Jay at one point. It was pretty much announced that he was going to be a Blue Jay. And then all of a sudden, the Astros came back in and said, whoa, 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 hold the phone. We want you back in Houston. And he ended up going back to Houston. So let's go take a look at the numbers here. Here we go, sharing the screen. Michael Brantley, always been a pretty solid player. Injuries have dogged him, but when he's healthy, this guy is as good as it gets. If we go take a look here, going back, he's like a much better Mark Canha, a very good on-base guy. 22 homers in 2019, had the 90 RBIs, a 372 on base, a 311 average. I mean, this guy has been just so solid. I mean, spent most of his career with Cleveland. I mean, overall in his career, 354 on base. This guy, I mean, going back, 2018, 2017, 2016, kind of down years for him. But if you go back to like 2014, 6.5 wins above replacement. I mean, this guy has, for the most part, been very solid in his career. But if you just go back to 2018, in the last few years, this guy has been a very good contributor. The 2018 Indians, almost 4 wins he contributed. 2019, 148 games for the Astros, a very solid season, 4 wins contributed. And then this past season, he did miss some games, but overall, during his time, very solid. Hit 300, a 364 on base, a 476 slugging. So I really like Michael Brantley a lot. To me, he gets the number 3 spot. The only thing I wonder about with him is how is the health going to be? Is he going to be able to stay on the field this coming season and the next coming seasons? He's not getting any younger by any means. So maybe he gets some more time at DH this year. We'll have to wait and see. Yordan Alvarez is going to share time with him. We'll have to wait and see. So Michael Brantley, when he is healthy, I like Michael Brantley a lot. Here we go. At number 2, here we go. Marcelo Zuna. Marcelo Zuna. What a season for him last year. Let's go take a look at the numbers. Man, oh man, this was a fun player last year. Let's go take a look. What a great season for him. All 60 games this past season. 338 average, a 431 on base, a 636 slugging, 18 home runs, 2.5 wins contributed. Where the numbers hold him back a little bit is the defense. He's never really been the best out there. He'll kind of do what he has to, but for the most part, he's not great. He DH'd for the most part in 2020, but that did not hurt the Braves at all. I mean, that ended up helping the Braves out a lot. If they end up getting a universal DH, Marcelo Zuna, I mean, that bat is just perfect for that spot. I mean, like I said, look at this past season. 60 games, 18 homers, 56 RBIs. I mean, over a 400 on base. I mean, going back to the last few years, I mean, with the Marlins, pretty solid for the Marlins. His best season overall to date back in 2017. Had a 376 on base, a 312 average. I mean, had the 37 homers. This guy is very good. This guy is very good. But there is, actually, before I move on to the next guy, if we go take a look at the postseason he had. Pretty good postseason as well. Had a few homers during the postseason. Drove in a lot of runs, 11 runs over 12 games. A little low on the on base, but he was contributing to that Braves lineup. So very, very excited to see what he can do for this Braves team coming up this year. It's a Braves team that I think can be very good. I'm excited to see what Marcelo Zuna can do. But he does not get the number 1 spot for me, unfortunately, because there is just one guy that is just too good for me to take out of the number 1 spot right now. And who else could there be other than Christian Yelich? This guy, my goodness. I mean, a bit of a down year this past year, but you know what? I'm not going to let that affect me from taking him out of the number 1 spot. Here we go. Taking a look here. Even though the numbers were a little, the batting average was down, only hit 205 this year. But if you go take a look, his on base was still really good, a 356 on base. He still had 12 home runs. Again, it wasn't a typical Christian Yelich kind of a year, bit of a down year. But again, 58 games. When the guys that slumped this year that have had really good track records, I'm not buying into those slumps too much. You never know that, full season, this guy could have gotten red hot to get himself back on track to a really good season. But look at the last 2 seasons, 130 games, 2019. He missed a few games there, 147 games in 2018. So, but even though he has missed some time over the last couple of years, this guy's numbers have been insane. 44 homers in 2019, the 97 RBIs. I mean, goodness gracious, about an 8-win player in the last 2 seasons. I mean, this guy is as good as it gets. I mean, again, a bit of a down year when it comes to the average, but he was still getting on base a lot. He was still getting walks. So I am banking on the fact that Christian Yelich, I think he's going to be completely fine. So for me, he is the number 1 left fielder. No questions asked. I mean, Marcelo Zuna, very good, but was it enough to take Christian Yelich out of the number 1 spot for me? Not quite. So Christian Yelich, to me, the number 1 guy. So let's review the list really quick. At number 10, Randy Rosario. At number 9, Clint Frazier. At number 8, Jesse Winker. At number 7, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. At number 6, Dominic Smith. At number 5, Eloy Jimenez. At number 4, Mark Hannahan. Number 3, Michael Brantley. Number 2, Marcelo Zuna. Number 1, Christian Yelich. So that is my list. Tell me what you think down below in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Should there be some other guys on this list? Do you think some guys should be higher or lower? Let me know in the comments, but that's all I got. Stay tuned for next time. I'm going to go over my top center fielders heading into 2021. But before I get out of here, again, if you are new, hit that subscribe button for me. We're trying to get to 6K by opening day. So if you are looking for more baseball news and content, think about hitting that subscribe button. Hit that like button for me. That's going to get it out to more baseball fans. Go follow me on Twitter. But everyone, that's all I got for this video today. Thank you so much for coming by. And as always, I'll talk to you next time.